Just a couple bad weather fans representing New York, talking all things sports. Man, what could go wrong? We got Alex, who's a fan of the Knicks, and Mike of the Nets. The yin-yang of the tri-state, place your bets on the Yankees, Giants, Mets, or Jets. Yeah, you should listen if it's sparking your interest. If you made a vow to your team, don't break it. Bad weather fans is the relation.
That's right. This is Bad Weather Fans, episode number 199. Mike Biseglia, Alex Benesowitz, and we are presented by DraftKings. Brooklyn Nets go into Phoenix last night and get the win, 116-112. It's the first time the Nets have seen Kevin Durant. Meanwhile, the Knicks, they lose in Utah, 117-113. I was listening to this game with the Jazz broadcast at the very end, and they noted that this was the first Knicks loss versus a team that was under 500, and that the Knicks are now 10-1 versus those teams. Nets, Knicks, both with 13-10 records. Nets on the second game of their road trip. First one they lost to the Kings. Now both these teams are out west. So we are recording this on the East Coast early in the AM. Good morning, Alex. How are you doing?
I'm good. I really liked how you enunciated Kevin Durant. Like it was very
unintentional,
very professional way to put it out there. You know, very emphasized.
Unintentional. Unintentional.
The Knicks lost to the Jazz. They were up big. You know, they were not up big. They were up, or it was like kind of tied. And then, you know, Randall had a great first quarter as usual. And then, you know, the rest in the Jazz bench took over, even with Quentin Grimes on the bench. So, you know, it's just the usual. And then they made the fake comeback at the end, but they were down by like over 15 or something like that in the second half. And you know, then the usual fake comeback and missed some open threes and some free throws. They even got it within like a few points. And, you know, Josh Hart, of course, gets a wide open. They're down 3 with 30 seconds left. I know we want to talk about the Nets first, but Josh Hart got an open 3 with like 30 seconds left, and they were down 3, and he misses it. And then quickly gets an offensive rebound, kicks out to Brunson. He misses a 3, and it's just like, all right, well, this is not our night. You know what I mean? But why is Josh Hart on the floor in a 3-point game with 30 seconds left after a timeout when he can't shoot? That's another question. I don't understand. Of course, the Jazz are like, yeah, let him shoot. You know, so it just doesn't make any sense. But that's Tibbs, and who knows? Quickly was on fire. Only had like 15 minutes. You know, I don't understand this guy. But hey, we have reinforcements are coming. Taj Gibson is back. Thank God. You know, that's not enough.
Is he any good? I mean, he's been out of the league. I mean, I think that's just something everybody forgets is you thinking of Taj Gibson from however long ago it was.
Yeah. When he wasn't even that good then, you know,
he was 4 years. But I understand the Knicks. I mean, it makes sense realistically when you're losing, you lost your starting center for 2 to 3 months, 8 to 12 weeks, or whatever it is, and you do need to sign somebody. So you can go with old familiar, and of course Tibbs and all his connections to Taj. It makes natural sense that that's the direction that they would go in, and I'm sure he'll have a moment or two here or there that's pretty solid. But again, there's no way to replace your starting center. And the presence that he presented on the offensive, defensive, and most importantly, the offensive glass, where he was such a beast.
The Knicks signed Trevor Siemian, basically. They signed Trevor Siemian.
I mean, to lose Mitch Robinson, I know I've heard some Knicks fans say he's the best offensive rebounder, maybe better than Dennis Rodman. So I understand the impact of the loss, which will be curious because I'm looking forward to. This is the least nervous I'll say I've been in a long time, Alex, for Nets and Knicks next week. Which I do want to have a programming note for everybody listening to Bad Weather Fans. Episode number 200 will be Wednesday, a week from basically yesterday. So 6 days and counting, as I am confusing and mesmerizing everybody and myself. December 20th, Nets, Knicks. That is the first time they will meet this season. It's at the Barclays Center, and it just coincides with our 200th episode. So make sure you look out for that next week. This is probably Alex, the least nervous I have been gearing up for in that Knick game, and maybe the most like I'm kind of looking forward to this. I want to win, and I'll be intense, and I'll be super pissed off. Trust me, but not they better win at all costs, or it's a disaster feeling. That's kind of subsided now with the Nets, sort of just playing really good basketball, and not the team with the expectations like the other one in Manhattan.
Yeah, it's back to, time has healed itself. It's back to the way that it usually is, where the Knicks have the expectations and they're getting the attention, and the Nets are kind of in the background, just building a nice little team and, playing well. And, that's just what it is. It's not like what it was when things were out of whack, when they had Durant and Kyrie and Harden, and they never played together, but they were on the team together. And it's just one of those situations where it's like there was so much more intensity because there was so much intertwined with the signings and the trades and why the Knicks didn't get them and whatever. So there was so much there, and the trash talk and whatever. Now it's like the Nets have nothing to trash talk about. The Knicks can't talk either because they're only like 12-10, so
13-10,
13-10. I'm sorry, and I don't mean to shortchange them.
Same record as the Nets.
Same exact record, and it's just what's there to trash talk? And I know it's just the arrogance of some Knicks fans, but honestly, if you watch the Nets, like I do here and there, a lot more than other Knicks fans do, I'm sure. I do watch them. I'm kidding, but you see the Nets are pretty damn good. Like they're really a good team, man. Like they have coached well. There's no real alpha. I mean, Mikal Bridges is the guy, but he's not like Julius Randle where he's yelling at teammates to give him the ball and shit.
No,
it's kind of just in the flow of the game. So
yeah, and on that note, the Nets go into Phoenix and win 116-112 in the first time they've seen Kevin Durant. The return of Mikal Bridges and Cameron Johnson into Phoenix, and Nets doing this without Dennis Smith Jr., without Lonnie Walker the third. There's a Lonnie Walker the fourth. I apologize, and they are just still winning basketball games. They look like, I've never seen I have seen the Nets win in Sacramento on that crazy comeback, but playing in Sacramento, to me, I got to be honest, I was more nervous for that game as one where I'm like, I don't think they can win, as opposed to the Suns. And I do think that the Nets caught the Suns at the right time. I know that for the first time all year, they had Beal, they had Booker, they had Durant all playing together. But I don't mind the idea of the first big iteration of the big three there, playing it for the first time versus the Nets, because you have to figure all of that out, which is complicated, as I have seen firsthand. I was kind of cool with that, even though it's like, oh, of course, the return of all three of them together versus the Nets. But Nets come out strong early. Big performances from Cam Johnson, who got hot. Phoenix made their run. They took the lead in the third, but credit to the Nets. They came back after being down as many as 7 in the third quarter. Just came back, and the bench is what did it once again. Royce O'Neal, a big part of that bench mob that was great for them, and they just slowly but surely take that lead in the fourth quarter and then almost give it up, but don't, and get the 116-112 win. And the biggest mistake of the game may have come from Kevin Durant. With the Nets up by 2, there's 7 seconds left on the clock, 3 point something left on the game shot clock, and Durant fouls Cam Thomas. Or no, excuse me, he fouled, I believe, Cam Johnson in the corner, and from there it reset the clock, and that the Suns had no choice but to foul. Cam Thomas makes both free throws, 4-point game. Good night. Nets get the win in Phoenix, and after a 0-1 road trip, now it's 1-1 as they go into the Nuggets, and it just feels good if you're a Nets fan. The Suns have finals expectations, the Nets don't, but for one night, you could just celebrate beating Kevin Durant, beating the Phoenix Suns. And for a 12-hour period, if you're a Net fan, 24-hour period, you're just like, you know what? We beat you in Phoenix. You demanded a trade out of here, but we got the W versus you.
Yeah, no, it was a good revenge game for Nets fans. I mean, the Suns were without Eric Gordon, who's like their sixth man, is about 14 points a game. He's pretty good. So like that, they weren't completely at full strength, but they're not. If Eric Gordon's out for the season, which he's not, the Suns will still have championship aspirations.
Sure.
So it doesn't really change that much. To give the Nets a little credit, it was a good win, but like you said, it was the first game that they were all together, so it's kind of like they're trying to feel each other out, so it was a good time to get them, and you got your revenge game, you got your nice, whatever, the Jets going into Tampa Bay and beating Keyshawn kind of moment, and just away we go, and then the Bucks end up winning a Super Bowl anyway with him, so it's something like that could still happen for the Suns, but of course a pissed off Suns team now is going to play the Knicks on Friday.
Beautiful
with the big three, and I'm sure Eric Gordon will be back for that game too, so they'll be at full strength, and that'll be great. And after the Knicks lose to the Jazz, so you should be happy about that. It sets up a Knicks loss on Friday on ESPN national TV.
Doesn't necessarily. I mean, who knows in this league? And trust me, I like that did align that way, which is nice. I now look back at this season too, and I want to make this note, and it was from Spen Harris, who texted me, who Fireside Nets, check them out. Nets have now defeated this season Durant. They've defeated Harden, and if it wasn't for that freaking Luka Doncic insane bank
Yeah.
three, not looking
Lucky shot. That
with
was
his
a lucky
eyes
shot.
closed
Yeah.
and, eating a hot dog and drinking a beer. Nets would have been defeated the Mavs and Kyrie, but they did not. So, Nets getting the revenge on their former teammates and former teammate in Harden. The Knicks have the Clippers on their slate as well for this West Coast trip. And the Clippers, I believe, now on a 5-game winning streak as they have started to turn a corner. Because if you remember when their big three or big four, big 702 got together, the Nets and Knicks were early on in that slate. Knicks won at the Garden versus the Clippers.
Yeah, that was his first game, Harden's first game. I think.
Second game was in Brooklyn. Nets won that game. Now the Clippers start to play some good basketball, and the Knicks go after the Suns. They have the Clippers as well. And then the Lakers. Well, the Nets, Nuggets, Warriors will not see Draymond Green, and then they close it out with the team the Knicks lost to in the Utah Jazz. So both of these teams sort of on this West Coast trip, and then collide back in Brooklyn is kind of interesting.
Yeah, no, the Knicks. So the Knicks are at Phoenix on Friday, at the Clippers Saturday, at the Lakers Monday, at Brooklyn the 20th, which is not a home game, but at least they get to go home. and then Saturday, then they have back-to-back versus the Bucks. So it's just, and then the Thunder. So
that's a Christmas game.
Yeah.
One of the Bucks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's crazy that they have a back-to-back with them. Not back-to-back in days, but like back-to-back games at home and a quick no. Is it a home?
It is. It's both in New York, I believe, and I think it loses a little bit of its luster for that Christmas Day game. It's just a little weird that the team you're playing on Christmas is the team you just play. Yeah, it just seems strange as a scheduling quirk that you would see the same all team
fucked up because of the in-season tournament that you love so much, and they played the Bucks already.
Best ratings. How well the game did well. That final game had the best.
Great.
I mean, which is what they want.
Screw the Knicks. You know what I mean? The Knicks lost 2 big games, they got smacked around by the Bucks and the Celtics on the road on 2 extra games. They got screwed for winning, for getting to the knockout round. They got screwed. So, great job. I hope all you Knicks fans love the in-season tournament,
If you're going to be one of the premier franchises in all of sports, not even just the NBA, if you're going to be one of the premier franchises in all of sports with some of the best fans that have ever walked this
smartest fans
goddamn earth, you better accept that these are some of the things that come with it. So you know what? Bullshit. Don't bitch about it.
No, yeah, I understand what you're saying. It's one of those situations where you have no choice, and it's just that like the Nets this year, they won to get to the knockout round. They didn't get to the knockout round, and their schedule got easier. So it's kind of like it's just the Knicks drew a bad straw, and it sucks, and it needs to be amended, and it is.
Yeah, it will. They'll make their adjustments. And the NBA league said they will make their adjustments. They'll make some changes. They'll tweak it. And then each year, it'll get a little bit more tight, a little on point with what needs to happen. I think a lot of it was a shit show in a lot of ways, especially when it was like that last night. But it did draw excitement. Last night of when all the teams were involved, it did get some excitement. And also, it's interesting that both the Nets and Knicks, I can't remember this ever really happening, but both Nets and Knicks on West Coast trips, because this is always talked about. Oh, it's the first game back from a long road trip is always the hardest one because you're still at this. But both teams are really experiencing that, and it is at the Barclays Center, so it is.
But it's home. It's not like a home game. Like it's not like a disrespect, but like the Knicks get to go home.
Oh yeah. I assume
they'll have to stay at a hotel in Brooklyn. You know what I'm saying? Like
no. I mean, they're going to stay in their own beds, and then they'll probably. I don't know how. I have no idea how it works. If they all commute to the Garden and then take a bus, I don't know how.
I'm sure they just get there on their own. Just get to the.
I don't know. It's kind of hard to park around there. Like you can't drive your car. I mean. Actually,
I'm sure they got some parking. Question. I'm sure they have some underground parking garage for the players.
Well, yes, but it's for the players. But nowhere do you allow road team players to drive in? Like you wouldn't,
right?
The Rockets were
Usually
in town,
it's a bus. Yeah.
Hey, let's take the 24-hour drive.
Yeah.
Or what? 36-hour drive. I don't know. Not that anybody really cares.
I'm actually interested. Like, how do the Knicks drive themselves to the game, or maybe they just all take Ubers? They just take an Uber. We'll get you a bus home, back. That's true.
I could see
There's
that.
a meetup point somewhere in the city or in Westchester for Knicks players to get on a bus.
Yeah, I could really see James Dolan, checking the invoice from Josh Hart. Well, you spent $76 on an Uber, and Josh Hart just being like, "Hey, James, it's been a couple of weeks. You haven't refunded me for the money I'm owed." Yeah, Jericho Sims, hey, it was $107 for my Uber. Where's my money? James going, I don't know. You're not getting it.
You didn't file your invoice. You put the wrong number on it or something, kind of a
I could totally see that happening. You know what has been bothering me? I'm all over the place here.
What's that, Mike? What's that?
There's nothing more annoying to me in the NBA right now. If you're watching on YouTube, I had my drawer open behind me, and someone with insane OCD was fucking driving me crazy. I was like, I'm not going to make this point until that is closed. But you know what's been driving me insane right now? And I'm going to say something. Have you ever seen How I Met Your Mother?
Yes, not consecutively, but I've seen enough episodes to understand the show.
There's one episode where they're all best friends, and there's one episode where they finally point out all of their other. This is not about you, so don't worry. There's this one point in the show, and they're all best friends, and they point out something that the other person does, and then once they realize it, like glass shatters in their head, and they can't stop seeing it. Like, for example, somebody chews so loud, and then all they hear is the chewing noise. And it kind of is like, then once they see that person do it, they can't stop seeing it. So I'm going to do that now for all of the listeners and watchers of Bad Weather Fans.
Okay.
Anytime somebody gets fouled or not fouled, and the player puts their hands up, and if you're watching on YouTube for the replay, and puts their hand in motions, challenge it, and your hand is swirling in the air, challenge it. Every play, and I'm like, holy fucking shit. It's 7:02 in the first quarter, and the score is 11-10, and it's a ticky-tack foul. It's not going to be reviewed. And now every time I see it, it's like, oh, let me put the hand in the air, let me roll my hand in the air. It's like replay. And now every time I see it, it's just so annoying. My team, the away team, it's like, okay, we get it with the hand motion for the replay, and it just drives me nuts.
Yes, I understand that. Especially, well, at least now, especially in previous years where you only had one challenge, even if you got it right, like that was it.
Yeah.
So why would you ever use that unless it was the last 2 minutes of the game?
Of course.
But now it's if you get one right, you get a second one. So it makes a little more sense, but still it has to be a major momentum turn point if it's not in the last fourth quarter. You know what I'm saying? It just has to be something last 3-5 minutes, whatever it is. You know what I mean? 3 to 5 minutes. It's got to be. But I understand that. It's just like every NBA player. They never commit a foul. You might smack the guy in the face and be like, I didn't do it. What?
But instead of the I didn't do it anymore, it's now the
go look at it.
And you just swirl your wrist around. Call it. Look at it. And then you look at the foul and you're like, I don't know if we should use it here.
Isn't that very confusing for baseball fans who don't watch basketball a lot? It's like, did they hit a home run? Like, what's going on with the is that the home run sign, right? Like,
yeah, right. Exactly. Exactly.
It's out of here.
It's out of here. Yep. You're good. Yeah. That's a true point.
Yeah.
The like, oh, I didn't foul him, or that, like, the frustration has now all turned into the universal signal of just swirling your pointer finger up in the air.
It's ridiculous. And
now you'll all see it.
It's so funny because they miss the most obvious plays. The refs, and it feels like maybe the refs in all sports have been really bad and umpires have been really bad. But it may be just because we have video that we can get so fast and
yes, agreed.
Nobody. If there's a missed call, somebody on Twitter and somebody on any Instagram anywhere is going to see it and is going to post it in slow motion, be like, you missed this. And then it blows up and the refs look so stupid. It used to be 25 years ago, a ref missed a call and you're on your couch with your family and you're like, oh, he missed it. He missed that. It was out of bounds. And it's just like, oh, yeah. And then in an hour, you forget about it. You know what I'm saying? It's not replayed over and over, so that might be a lot to it. But there was a play last night in the Knicks Jazz game where it's in the fourth quarter. Colin Sexton is getting pressured by, he's went over the half court line. He's playing the game and whatever. And he's getting trapped and he comes around and he steps on the half court line, not once, but twice. And how do you miss a backcourt twice within 2 seconds? Like, you're standing right there. I understand you might miss the first one or you're not sure, you don't want to blow the whistle, but you miss it twice. I mean, the Knicks ended up getting the ball back and really quickly, so they only lost maybe 5 seconds, but that 5 seconds or so in the last few minutes of the game is huge. And how do you miss 2 plays like that? So I would have wished the Knicks went like this in the air, but you can't even challenge that because it's not like a solid play right there. You know what I'm saying? It's not like, an out of bounds or whatever you can replay. The only thing you can go back for is a 3-pointer if he was on the line or something like that. And that's not even a challenge, so I don't know. Just it's ridiculous how bad some of the refs have been, especially in football, has been awful. But NBA is always bad because it's so subjective. Everything is just so like, well, did he hit him? Well, it wasn't hard enough. Well, was he? Was it intent? Whatever. But not everybody's Draymond Green, where they're being Tasmanian devil and throwing the fist in the air and punching Nurkic in the face. It was
and
absurd.
Good for the NBA for suspending him
Yeah.
indefinitely. I think they had no choice, based on his track record and especially this season,
especially
what happened
right after the Gobert one,
in the year. So now that he did that, obviously the league had to take action, and not good for the sport when you're punching people basically once every other week. It's just,
like, Draymond, can you do it once a year? Like, you got to do it once every month. Like, we can't just like give you a slap on the wrist.
Yeah. The Nets, I was like, okay, good timing with him being out with the road trip. I didn't see that play live. I woke up to it. I saw on Twitter, on X,
same.
and I was like, oh my God, like again. And it's just and Nurkic is definitely annoying. I mean, I understand that he's a pest on the boards. He's just a
sarcastic
big dude.
Yeah.
So I saw that last night firsthand. So I could see how he probably is a recipe to get under get under Draymond's skin or whatnot. But still, you can't retaliate and just basically punch somebody in the face. And in the heat of the moment, he just loses control. I mean, he lost kind of his bearings on where he is, and you just can't be punching people on the court. It's just not going to work.
And it's not like, you can say, well, he's been crazy and he's never cost the Warriors really anything. Well, he did cost them a championship when he hit LeBron in the nuts, got suspended, and gave them the motivation to come back from 3-1. They were dead, so like, or they weren't dead, but they were like hanging on by a thread. And then, without Draymond, there was no bully in the paint, and they were able to, really expose the Warriors momentum down low.
And momentum. I mean, and that play I do understand, because LeBron walking
he
over him. So he baited him for sure. And
but he knew what he was doing, because he knew it was Draymond. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, Nurkic is probably being a dick and trash talking the whole game in his ear. Like, you know what I mean? You're going to choke me? You're going to choke me, bro? Like, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? You know what I mean? He's that kind of guy. And his post-game comments after, like, I'm just glad I didn't get choked, in his sarcasm. And he's made some funny, like, trash talking stuff in the past. And, hope they enjoy their summer. He said to the Blazers fans once, or somebody, whatever team he was on before the Blazers. Portland. Oh yeah, he was like, because he got traded there, and they won a couple. I forgot. It was just funny. It was like, I hope they have a nice summer. Like, he was just being a dick over the PA system. One of those post game interviews. Right. So he's that. I really do like him. He's just always been injured, so he hasn't had a chance to really become, like, a well known player.
Well, that bad injury came against the Nets during the Nets playoff season pre-Durant, where the Nets were out west in Portland, and he fell on his ankle, and it was one of the most gruesome things I've ever seen live. It's like, oh God.
That's rough.
He had a really bad injury that night.
Rough. Terrible. Yeah, rough. Did you see the thing also lastly with Giannis and the game ball? He scored 64 points, and the Pacers took the game ball just to be assholes. Like, how petty can you be? I know, like, Giannis going crazy over a game ball looks very, very childish, but, like, you're keeping the game ball. You make Giannis go run to the locker room. Like, give me the ball, dude. Like, they want to give it to some rookie. They're like, it's his first points, and we want to give it to him. And then people look it up, and it's like, it wasn't his first points. His first points at home. Like, that's not a reason to take the game ball. Like, that's just so petty. You know what I mean? It's just like, that's
it
ridiculous.
is. But then seeing Giannis running around like a little kid, 3-year-old asking
for
my
the ball.
Like, I mean, it was really.
They embarrassed him.
Yeah, it was a bad look all around for everybody, because it was. You're right. It was just petty of guys just. I have always thought Rick Carlisle was a dick. I don't know.
Oh, yeah. Jim Carrey. Yes.
Well, there was one story where producer at CBS like texted him to come on, and there was some sort of connection where he knew the host.
Was that when you were still there? When
I was still there. Yeah.
Radio?
So he would have probably been with Dallas at the time.
Uh-huh.
And Carlisle was like, "Don't ever text me again." Like, lose my number. I don't know. It's just kind of not that says everything. I mean, I don't know, but if you just probably get
more
the
text message,
but it was just he was just like a dick about it. And I was like, okay, well, I guess he's not coming on the show today. The whole thing was a strange look. It was just strange. But Giannis having 64, being dominant, going after the ball, give me my ball. I mean, it reminded me of little kids at recess.
Right. And he got body slammed on one play and like
His
almost
brother.
literally body slammed. And Thanasis was like coming off the bench, but it was almost like he wanted to come off the bench to go fight for him. But then he was kind of like slowing down, like kind of grab me, hold me back kind of a thing, you know? So it was just
annoying.
like, just go run after him, man. Like, who cares if you get suspended for leaving the bench? Like, you don't play. Like, just do it. Like, I didn't jump in there.
And
So
the Bucks are
whatever.
annoying. But if you look at the standings right now, it's in the Eastern Conference. Bucks 17-7 behind the Celtics at 17-5. Magic Sixers 16-7. So it's like, Magic
what are the Pacers?
The
Pacers still up there?
Pacers 13-9.
Okay.
But
yeah.
you got those big three, and then Orlando kind of in there, like almost predictable. Those are the teams everybody thought, and credit to the Sixers too, winning games, and all the turmoil that they have been through. But when it's all said and done, Celtics Bucks 1-2. No surprises at the top of the Eastern Conference. And if the playoffs started today, Alex, you know who the play-in 7-8 game would be?
Knicks Nets or Nets Knicks? Who's home?
Knicks technically have the 7 seed right now to the Nets 8, but both 13-10. Would be the 7-8 play-in game, which I guess as we're a quarter into the season, might actually be a possibility.
Yeah, but don't worry. Taj Gibson's on the way, Knicks fans. We're going to be okay because Taj Gibson's here. And you got my nice car video. First time I ever did something like that. It was kind of fun. I was waiting for my wife to come out of the eye doctor, and I'm just sitting there, and the Taj Gibson news just broke, and I'm like, let me do one of these and see how this
in
goes.
The dark. So
in the dark,
make sure next time we can see your beautiful face.
Yeah, well, my son was sleeping in the back seat, so I wasn't about to turn on the light. And I know he's a good sleeper, he's a city kid, so like he hears the sounds and the lights all the time. But like at the same time, it's like I didn't want to turn it on, and then I'm sitting in a parked car in the middle of the city with a crying baby, and and the dog was in the front seat too, and we're all like in the car, and I'm just kind of trying to keep it.
It could have been an interesting video if you're like, you're picking up your cell phone. Hey, this is Alex of Bad Weather Fans, and I'm here to talk about the Taj Gibson.
And then,
and, little sound effects never hurt.
Yeah,
but
I understand.
Great. Like,
it'd be cool for a 30-second video, but then the next 10 minutes of my life will be hell. So, I didn't know about.
Yeah, it's not right. I got that Taj Gibson point out, but now my son's sleep is out of whack, and he's going to be up all night, and who the hell knows what else is in store for me on this beautiful Wednesday evening in New York.
Right. Next time I'll just do an audio version and no video, so people.
No, we got to do the video version. You just have to put some light on your face.
Yes.
And programming note as well. Yes. Bad Weather Fans, next week, episode 200. Alex obviously will react to the Nets Knicks, but at the same time, kind of wild that it is our 200th episode, and we couldn't do it without the support of all of you out there. But it is wild.
Our wives and our wives. You give them some support.
Oh yeah. Shout out to the wives.
Yes.
200 episodes, crazy.
Yeah, and we're actually going out again this weekend.
No, don't say that.
Don't say that.
Well, you never know. Don't jinx it. So many factors.
Mike and I hang out once a year. So last time we hung out was New Year's Eve last year, and we talk every day, obviously, and we do the show, and we're very close. But like we never get together because Mike lives in New Jersey and I live in Manhattan. We have babies, and the last time we hung out was last New Year's Eve, and we're talking about hanging out again. I'm like, we should just hang out New Year's Eve again and just hang out once a year.
That'd be funny.
New Year's Eve, but. So we're getting it in this weekend before the Knicks Nets game.
It would be a lot more challenging this year to hang out with
when I have
3 kids.
Too. Yeah. And a dog.
Would be a lot.
I would have to board the dog, which
I would say that would probably be a challenge. And last time you were your dog, my cat was just hiding in my office up top on the cabinets. He's like, fuck this shit.
Right.
I'm not dealing with this dog.
And Jess, your wife, was pregnant, and for some and I'm like, Ruby doesn't jump. Don't worry, like she jumps, but she's not going to jump on you. And for some reason, Jess is sitting on the couch.
I don't remember this.
And Ruby turns around, looks at Jess, and goes diving onto.
I have no memory of this. Now
missed the baby, like hit the top of her stomach, so it was fine. But like she just like, I'm like, Ruby, what are you? And like it just made me look so bad. I felt so bad because like I was like, don't worry about it. She won't.
We talk about that every day in anticipation.
But no, Jess was cool because it hit the top. She didn't hit the baby. You know what I mean? It was like up top. So it was like, it was cool. Like, either way, I'm sure Jess would have been cool. Like, it's fine. But like, for some reason, Ruby just like had it in her mind, I'm going to jump on her. Like, for what reason?
She wanted to meet Lucy, I guess. I don't know. What the awkward ending. Okay.
Yes. Okay.
I have no memory of that.
No, that's really fun. It looks like you have a Christmas tree over your shoulder now. I know across the street, if you're looking on YouTube, it looks like now that the light's up and the sun's coming out, it looks like you have a little Christmas tree.
It does.
They should
look
light
like
that one up, like make it like looking like a Christmas tree. That'd be
Yeah, let me do it this way. I know Lee always gets on me. You're doing it wrong here.
Yeah. I'm sure Lee's really
yeah.
in this moment.
When he pretends to listen all the way.
And Mike
through.
does have Knicks headphones on, by the way. If you're watching
do.
on YouTube, there's orange and blue headphones. So
I think
he's
they're
a secret
Blippy
Knicks fan.
headphones.
Yeah, or they're Mets. You can always say Mets. That's your out. Like I'm a Mets fan. They're for the Mets.
You don't know Blippy yet, but
no,
you will.
not yet. Thank God.
You will know Blippy. You'll get into the Blippy universe at some point.
But isn't it something like I can control? Like if I never show him Blippy, my son Blippy, then
he'll
he'll
find
never
it.
watch it. Yeah, he'll find it somehow on
he will.
YouTube. Kids YouTube, it'll just be there. And
it'll happen. It will happen. Yeah. Don't you worry. Don't you worry. These are not Nick headphones. How dare you?
Yes.
This has been episode 199 of Bad Weather Fans. Thank you to everybody who has been listening to this podcast. We do appreciate you. We appreciate all the group chat texts that we're in that are really annoying. Cooney's another day. You are not as good at me at Wordle
as me.
For English.
See, yeah, they couldn't even speak, but you're good at Wordle. All right.
I'm really good at Wordle. I've dominated Wordle. I did it this morning, got it in 3 for those curious. Alex, real quick, I'm going to give you an immaculate grid. Let's see if you can get these on the spot. Warriors Magic.
Warriors Magic. That one I couldn't get yesterday.
This is the same one from yesterday. This is different. No, Celtics Magic.
Shaq.
That's a good one. Okay.
That's what I did, Shaq.
Thunder Magic. Oh, you've done this.
Well, I did that one yesterday, but I didn't finish it, so you can keep going.
The fact that you didn't know what immaculate grid was until I told you this far into the game.
Yeah, I know.
Is shocking to me.
I know. Oh yeah, it didn't reset yet. But ask me which the Magic Thunder guy I picked.
Which Magic Thunder guy did you pick?
Patrick Ewing, because he's a Sonic.
Probably had a good low percentage.
Yeah.
Right, last one I'm going to give you. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Oilers Devils. We're going hockey.
Oilers Devils. I have no idea.
I don't even know what logo this is.
Well, for hockey?
Yeah, I don't even. Is that the Seattle Mariners?
Oh, I don't know.
I don't even know what team that is.
Oh, that's the Seattle fuck. What the hell's their name?
Kraken.
The Kraken. Yeah, I remember Carton was really into it. Into the Kraken.
I was like, the Mariners are in the NHL.
Why don't you ask me who I picked for the Celtics? The Celtics born outside of the 50 states in DC.
Who did you pick for the Celtics born outside of the 50 states and the DC?
Dino Raja.
Oh, that's a good one.
Remember him? Yeah.
Of course I remember Dino Raja.
I got to go way back on these because it's more fun to get the way back guys because you want to leave the more recent people for like the more, the obvious ones that you can't.
See, now you're getting better. You're improving at this. Like your first ones were just like Steph Curry.
Yeah.
Kevin Durant.
What about Bull Celtics? Who's your Bull Celtics?
I haven't done it yet. I just pulled it up. I haven't even
think of a
thought
Bull
about
Celtics.
It.
Well, it's going to be gone soon because it's
Bull
yesterday.
Celtics off the top of my head. See now I don't know.
I'll give you 10 seconds.
Bulls Celtics top of my head. I got Brian Scalabrine.
Oh, that's good. I did Rondo.
Let's see what Scal gets me.
Anyway,
11%. All right, there we go. Bad Weather Fans, episode 199. Check out Immaculate Grid. Next week will be episode number 200. So you want to tune into that. That will drop right after Nets versus Knicks. We'll react to it. Nets winners versus the Phoenix Suns. They do it out west while the Knicks lose to the Jazz, both the Nets and Knicks. Now 13-10 on the season. Alex, enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you this weekend.
All right. Thanks, Mike. Thank you.
You're welcome.